Ngiceliyeza lokushamba ndisusinkathazo wona nsinkathazo gogo ndiceliyeza yeza lokugaba ndikhupha inkathazo ngoba nansi inkathazo ifike ebusuku yeza nasemini oh inkathazo thuma lamvuma
Hey everyone, welcome to the Politics of Boalwa. Please subscribe and enjoy.
Dit gaan in die huidige tydsgewrig nie om die sogenaamde bevryding van die swart man nie. Dit gaan inderdaad om die inbesitneming van ons land. Daar is magte met begeerige oë gerig op die natuurlike rykdom en die strategiese ligging van ons land. En om besit daarvan te bekom, is dit hul oogmerk om ons as volk te vernietig.
Please note that this material is not for sensitive viewers. Please take this as a triggering warning. Thank you.
Malweni, Dumalang of Sheng. Hello guys, thank you for coming back to the Politics of Ubabalwa. That is I am so sorry for being gone for 2 months roundabout, but my schedule has been busy, but I will speak about that in another video. Today, however, it is quite a sore topic, and a topic that I believe is very necessary for us as the youth of South Africa to discuss, more especially if you're a black youth of South Africa. Today's topic is how the Truth and Reconciliation Council did nothing for the black South Africans and did everything for the white minority South Africans. Very controversial, but very true nonetheless. I will discuss this further and analyze it further, and hopefully you'll be able to keep up with what I'm saying. And if you have any input or any disagreement that you think is valid, please put it down there in the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and I know this will be one of your favorite channels, just do yourself a favor and like and subscribe my channel, and do me a favor as well, because I greatly appreciate your continuous feedback and your continuous support. Alright, okay, so I want to discuss the TRC because there's a lot that has been happening in the past month and a half alone. So there's been the South African national elections that have happened, which was quite interesting itself. I covered it, but I was unable to edit and do all things in time, but let's forget that, put that to the side. And then this weekend alone was quite a very painful weekend for black South Africans. Firstly, it was Father's Day. It is quite a triggering day for myself because I recently I found my father recently, and we're still building that relationship. So as much as he's still around and all that, but there's still a lot of pain for the fact that he's been absent for all these years. Then I understand that is also, it is a pain for a lot of black South Africans, even present day, because there are still a lot of absent fathers. Not forgetting the mothers that are also quite toxic, but right now I'm just speaking about that because I had quite a great mother, but she passed on. But yeah, Father's Day, as I said, triggering. Then there was June 16, which is called Youth Day, which I believe should be high schoolers' massacre day, because that's what they did to those school children. Those school children, they were massacred by those policemen, and I shall show you a video regarding that and regarding one of the participants that were there and survived, the leader of the movement on that day. His name was Tsietsi Mashinini. I will have a video of him talking about how they weren't there violently, nor were they there to fight policemen in that manner or whatever it may be. They were there in terms of a protest, in terms of what the government was doing to school children at that time, and they were met with violence and murder. Then there was the 17th of June 1992, which is the Boy Batong massacre. This was when the IFP massacred a number of people in Boy Batong. If I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm Xhosa, and yeah, I'm sorry for butchering the word. But yeah, the IFP members of the time were, according to history, paid for and given ammunition and given all the necessary support to go to that township and kill, butcher, with pangas, with guns and all of that. They killed a number of people in that street, and it is now remembered as the Boy Batong massacre. Unfortunately, it is not a holiday, nor do we ever hear of this at school. It is just quickly hushed away. But it is an important part of our history, and this is what was happening in this entire weekend. And it kind of made people have to question and have to understand, where are we going and where are we? Present day South Africa, 25 years down the line. What has changed truly? What has happened in terms of our democracy, and how is it, and what is it doing for Black South Africans? But before we go into that, let us firstly discuss what the TRC is.
According to SouthAfricanHistory.com, after the end of apartheid, as well as the release of the political prisoners in the early 90s and the country's transition from repressive rule to democracy in 1994, South Africa witnessed the establishment of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in 1995 in the new democratic South Africa. Formed during the leadership of the first democratic president, Nelson Mandela, under the promotion of the National Unity and Reconciliation Act of 1995. Archbishop Desmond Tutu with Dr. Alex Boraine were appointed as chairperson and vice chairperson, respectively. Out of the 7,112 people, 5,392 people were refused amnesty and 849 were granted amnesty. It was well favored globally, as it was not like the Nuremberg trials that took place in 1945 and 1946, post-World War II, where those found guilty were sentenced to death.
All of a sudden, they just went out of their cars and came advancing towards us. The first white policeman threw a tear gas. It was the first time we saw a tear gas can. We didn't know even what it was. So when we saw it emitting smoke, we dispersed. And when we came back again. Maybe we thought they would talk to us through a loudspeaker or something like that. All of a sudden, the same policeman who threw the tear gas canister opened fire on the students. I saw a boy of about 11 going down under police fire. I could not believe it. Apparently, when Hector was shot, the students ran back, and I was left with Hector and a girl. I was feeling scared, and I wanted to run away too. And this policeman was aiming his gun at Hector again, wanting to finish him off. And this girl stood in front of Hector and told the policeman in Afrikaans that skit for me, shoot for me. And the policeman deviated his aim and shot in the air.
Was there any attempt at communication between you as the leader of the students, or one of the leaders of the students, and the police force?
There wasn't no communication at all.
Were there any loud hailers or anything like that?
It wasn't there to start with. I did not see one, and nobody saw one, if there was any. The only type of communication I saw was just bullets and tear gas. I know for a fact that there were more than 300 people who were dead.
How do you know that?
After the June riots, on the weekend after the Wednesday, we went to the government mortuary to go and try and find some people and identify the people we know. When we got there were bodies scattered all over the place, and some of them were packed like potato sacks. And apparently these people had name tags on their wrists, and these name tags had been removed because you could see where the plaster was, and then they had been pasted with numbers on their foreheads.
This is the corpses?
The corpses. And they were turning bluish in color. I don't know what was the cause of that. And the biggest figure I saw was 353.
That's from the numbers on the corpses themselves?
The numbers on the corpses themselves. There is an instance where I saw a child of 8. When this hippo passed, people ran People passed, people ran away, and this kid innocently raised his fist in a black power sign and said power to this passing hippo. The hippo stopped there on the spot and they opened fire on this 8-year kid. When I went to the mortuary on the weekend, I saw this kid at the mortuary. She was riddled with bullets beyond recognition. The black student in South Africa is being fed the type of education that will domesticate him to become a better tool for the white man when he joins the working community. School libraries, school books, they've got nothing to do with civics or anything that is affiliated in any manner to politics. What happens is we are fed a lot of fiction stories. I could quote so many authors in fictitious writers that you would be surprised where I get them. Even our libraries are ill-equipped. You don't get much works on, say, democracy, communism, fascism, capitalism, and all that. We only know these things as concepts and something not within our world.
It's more than likely, Tsietsi, that you're being described up and down the country at the moment as a communist.
There is no truth in that as far as I'm concerned. It is just that in South Africa, if you're not doing what the government expects you to do, then you are a communist, of course.
As we interviewed Tsietsi Mashinini, the news came in of how successful the students' plan had been.
It makes me very happy, very happy.
What is it actually achieving now?
The idea is we blacks in South Africa do not have arms, and the only thing we can hit at the system with is just to cripple the economy of the country and make our faint cries reach the ears of the authorities. Because apparently if we demonstrate, they just shoot at us. And if they don't shoot, they detain a whole lot of students. Now we are trying to be as peaceful as possible. Detain the parents at home, and the parents are with us and they're prepared to stay at home as long as the students want them to stay at home. Now, with this, we believe the authorities will feel the pinch, and some way or the other, they'll have to succumb to our demand.
In the open, that apartheid is an Afrikaans word and can be easily replaced by a proper positive term, neighborly, good neighborliness. Good neighborliness. Who's laughing? Who's laughing? Ek het aan meneer Mandela gesê, don't awaken the tiger in the Afrikaner. And I'm afraid they are busy doing it.
Hulle het vir ons gewaarsku. Hulle het vir Suid-Afrika gewaarsku dat as ons nou aangaan met die TRC, dan gaan die tier en die Afrikaner wakker geskrik word.
What are you warning us?
Every nation has a tiger in himself. The moment you attack the pride of a nation, you attack the cultural values of a nation, the deep beliefs of his existence, and his self-respect, that moment you awaken the tiger in him.
What's the tiger going to do?
The tiger is all over the world. He's going to fight back.
The Tigers, the National Party, the Tigers, Afrikaners, who are also going to organize the Tigers of the people.
But I'm not here to apologize. That's my point with the so-called Truth and Reconciliation Commission. They want me to apologize. I'm not prepared to apologize.
Hy het weer vandag gesê dat hy is aan niemand 'n verskoning verskuldig nie. En hy staan by al die polisiemanne en hy staan by al die army manne wat mense doodgemaak het in die naam van die regering van destyds. So hy vra geen verskoning nie.
Are you saying you never did anything wrong? That's why you won't follow?
No, but you are always in front to do wrong things.
My question was to you.
But would you apologize to Mr. Mandela for the 27
I
years?
know that gentleman. I know that gentleman. He's one of the gentlemen I don't like.
Who's the killer? Who's the killer?
Are you going to apologize for all the people who died in jail, who died in Lesotho, and who died in neighboring countries?
No, I'm praying for them.
The Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
the means by which South Africa is attempting to come to terms with its past and bring together its people to forge common goals for the future, has been an extraordinary national therapy. And some have expressed disappointment with the process because it has failed to replicate the Nuremberg trials. In contrast to the fears and arrogance of opponents, it has not served as a means seeking movement. Instead, it has focused on getting wrong precise details of killings and other political violence.
Hey guys, thank you so much for being a part of this video, and thank you for your interaction. Please like and subscribe. The video ended up being a bit too long, so I had to cut it short. Thank you so much for your support. Bye.